I used to like winter drives. There was something about being out there alone, the snow muffling the world, the headlights cutting through the dark. But after what happened on the road to Ashcroft, I can't even look at falling snow without my stomach tightening. It started as another job. I was hauling soil samples for a private contractor, heading from Black Hollow to Ashcroft, a stretch of road I knew like muscle memory. Mountain curves, patchy radio, 2 hours at most. I'd done it a dozen times before. That morning, the forecast said light snow. By the time I loaded up, the snow was already building, fine powder that turned to thick flakes by the time I hit the highway. I told myself it would ease up once I crossed the ridge. It didn't. About an hour in, the snow turned from steady to blinding. The kind of snow that makes distance meaningless, where the trees vanish into the white, and you start doubting what your headlights are actually showing you. My shoulders were locked from tension. Every muscle in my body felt tight. I kept both hands on the wheel, eyes squinting through the windshield. The wipers were barely keeping up. I didn't even realize how fast my heart was beating until my chest started to ache. It wasn't fear yet, just that creeping, steady anxiety that sits in your gut and waits. When I passed the second mile 52 marker, I thought I'd misread it. When I passed the third one, my stomach dropped. I slowed down, then pulled over. The engine hummed. Everything outside was quiet, too quiet. I stared at the GPS until it froze and went blank. I told myself it was a glitch. Still, my hands were sweating. When I looked up, the road ahead was gone, just white on white. The rearview mirror showed the same. It hit me then, how alone I was. I hadn't seen another car in over an hour. My chest felt heavy. I had to force myself to breathe evenly. I turned the truck around, thinking I'd head back toward Black Hollow. I drove for maybe 15 minutes, but the mile markers didn't change. Still, mile 52. That's when panic started to bleed in. My stomach turned, palms slick on the steering wheel. Every bump of the tires made my pulse jump. And then I saw it, an orange flicker off to the right, barely visible through the storm. At first, I thought it was another car, but the light didn't move. It was steady. It looked like a window. Relief hit me hard, so fast I almost laughed. I figured it had to be a house, maybe a ranger station, or someone living off-grid. I'd knock, ask to use a phone, wait the storm out. I pulled off onto what might have been a shoulder. The snow swallowed the tires halfway. When I stepped outside, the cold punched the air out of my lungs. My breath came out in short bursts. My heart was racing, but I told myself I was just cold. There was a path leading into the trees. It wasn't a trail exactly, just smooth snow that looked pressed down by something heavy. No footprints, no tire marks, just one narrow way through the woods. The light got stronger the farther I went. My hands were shaking so badly, I had to keep them in my pockets to stop the noise of my jacket rustling. Then I saw the cabin. It looked old, half buried in the drift. My relief was instant and wrong, because as soon as I saw it, something in my gut twisted. There was no road, no power lines, no sign anyone had been here in years, but someone clearly was. I stopped at the door and knocked. The sound barely carried. No answer. I called out. My voice cracked halfway through the word. Still nothing. The fear came slow, like cold water creeping up your legs. I told myself it was fine, that someone had to be inside. I'd just explain. They'd understand. So I pushed the door open. Heat hit first, thick, dry, like walking into a furnace. The smell of wood smoke filled the air. "Hello," I said. "Sorry, my truck's stuck. I just need a phone." No answer. The cabin was small. One room, wooden walls, a small stove with a pipe going through the ceiling. There was a plate on the table, half-eaten food still steaming. My stomach dropped hard. Someone had been eating here minutes ago. I scanned the room. Boots by the bed, a coat hanging by the stove, a second chair pulled out like someone had just stood up. And that's when my heart nearly stopped. The coat. Same brand as mine, same model, same tear near the pocket. My chest tightened so bad it hurt. I could hear my pulse in my ears. I took a step back, my hands trembling. Then the floor creaked behind me. It was the slowest sound I've ever heard, like a single board shifting under weight. My whole body froze. I could feel my skin crawl. I turned my head, just enough to see movement at the edge of the shadows. Something small, a shift of fabric, maybe a sleeve, or maybe just my eyes playing tricks. That was all it took. I ran. I don't remember the first few seconds, just the sound of my boots hitting snow and the taste of metal in my mouth. The cold sliced through every breath. My lungs burned. My chest felt too tight. I fell once, got back up, slipped again. Didn't care. My only thought was get to the truck. When I finally saw it through the blur of snow, I almost cried. But as I got closer, I noticed the driver's door was open. I know I shut it. I stopped just short of it, gasping, shaking so hard my teeth clacked. I couldn't bring myself to look inside. I forced myself to grab the handle, jumped in, locked it, started the engine. The radio came on, just static. I drove. No idea how long. Just white and dark trees, and the feeling of something behind me. When I finally saw the lights of Ashcroft through the storm, I could barely breathe. At the station, I parked under the lamps and sat there for 10 minutes before my hands stopped shaking. The next week, when the storm cleared, I drove the same route in daylight. No turnoff, no cabin, just trees and a small frozen creek. I told myself I must have gotten turned around, that maybe I wandered onto an old logging road and imagined the rest. But I remember the heat of that cabin, the smell of smoke, the sound of that one creek behind me. I don't go that way anymore. When I have to take winter jobs, I check the weather twice. If it says snow, I stay home. Sometimes at night, when the wind dies completely, I can still hear that same kind of silence. The kind that presses against your chest and makes your heartbeat sound too loud. And every time, I feel my stomach drop, just for a second, before I remind myself I'm not on that road anymore. At least, I hope I'm not. Thanks for watching No Sleep Tonight. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It truly helps this channel grow and keep these horrors coming. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, sleep well.